Welcome, horror enthusiasts, to Top 10 Horror Channel. Each video promises to deliver gripping narratives, captivating visuals, and a dose of adrenaline-inducing suspense. So, subscribe and hit that notification bell to join our community of thrill seekers and stay up to date with our latest bone-chilling adventures. Now, without further ado, let the journey begin.
The night was filled with anticipation as the small town prepared for their annual 4th of July celebration. People gathered at the local park, adorned with American flags and festive decoration. As the sun began to set, the excitement grew. Fireworks display was the highlight of the evening. The crowd huddled together, their eyes fixed on the dark sky. The first explosion illuminated the night, painting vibrant colors across the canvas of darkness. Cheers and applause erupted, filling the air with joy. But as the fireworks continued, something felt off. Amidst the dazzling lights, whispers spread through the crowd. People began to notice strange shapes forming in the bursts of color, faces twisted in terror, resembling ghoulish apparitions. A hushed silence fell over the spectators as the final fireworks soared into the sky. Instead of the expected burst of vibrant hues, an eerie silence ensued. The firework remained suspended mid-air, its red glow casting an ominous glow on the frightened faces below. Suddenly, with a deafening boom, the firework exploded into a shower of sparks. But these sparks were different. They weren't the typical sparkles of celebration. They transformed into burning embers that rained down on the crowd, scorching their skin and causing panic to ensue. Chaos ensued as people screamed and tried to flee, only to find themselves trapped within the park. The once cheerful celebration turned into a nightmare. The ground beneath their feet seemed to shift and contort, trapping them within an unseen force. In the midst of the turmoil, figures emerged from the darkness. Distorted and disfigured, they advanced toward the helpless crowd. Their eyes glowed with an otherworldly fire, and their grotesque grins sent shivers down the spines of all who witnessed them. Town's 4th of July celebration, once a symbol of unity and patriotism, became a haunting spectacle of horror. The residents would forever remember that night as a twisted nightmare, etched into their memories whenever Independence Day approached. Deep in the heart of the countryside, there stood an old, abandoned farmhouse. Legend had it that the place was cursed, its walls concealing dark secrets and unspeakable horrors. Locals warned to never venture near the property, especially on the 4th of July, for on that night the house awakened. A group of adventurous teenagers, fueled by curiosity and a desire for thrills, decided to test the legends. They gathered outside the dilapidated farmhouse as dusk settled upon the land. The air was heavy with anticipation, and an eerie silence surrounded them. As the clock struck midnight, they stepped through the creaking front door, each footfall echoing through the decaying halls. The flickering moonlight cast eerie shadows on the peeling wallpaper and broken furniture, creating an atmosphere of dread. Suddenly, the house came alive. Doors slammed shut, trapping the terrified teens in different rooms. Whispers filled the air, growing louder and more menacing with each passing second. Unseen forces pushed and pulled at them, threatening to tear them apart. One by one, they encountered the house's malevolent entities. Apparitions materialized, their ghostly forms twisting and contorting in unnatural ways. Faces contorted into grotesque masks, eyes hollow and filled with malice. Teens screamed in terror as they desperately tried to escape their clutches. But the house seemed to have a mind of its own, manipulating the very fabric of reality. Rooms shifted and rearranged, leading the trapped victims deeper into the labyrinth of nightmares. Blood-curdling screams reverberated through the halls, drowning out any hope of rescue. As the night wore on, the tortured souls of those who had fallen victim to the house's curse joined the spectral ranks. Their wails merged with the tormented cries of the living, blending into a cacophony of horror. Dawn finally broke, and the house fell silent once more, leaving behind only remnants of the night's terror. The survivors emerged, battered and shaken, scarred by the horrors they had witnessed. They vowed to never speak of that night, to bury the memories deep within their souls. The old farmhouse, its curse sated for now, returned to its dormant state, waiting for the next unsuspecting souls to awaken its malevolence on another fateful 4th of July. In a small coastal town nestled between towering cliffs and crashing waves, a peculiar lighthouse stood tall. The locals whispered about its dark history, a tale of tragedy and the restless spirits that haunted its corridors. On the 4th of July, the lighthouse became a beacon of dread. A group of thrill-seekers, undeterred by the warnings, decided to spend the night inside the lighthouse, eager to uncover its secrets. As twilight painted the sky in shades of orange, they made their way up the spiraling staircase, their footsteps echoing through the empty tower. Once they reached the top, the panoramic view of the ocean mesmerized them. The rhythmic beam of the lighthouse swept across the night, casting an eerie glow on the churning waters below. But as the clock struck midnight, the tranquil scene transformed into a nightmare. The lighthouse beam, once a symbol of safety, began to distort and flicker. Shadows danced along the walls, taking on grotesque shapes that sent shivers down the spines of the visitors. The air grew frigid, carrying whispers that seemed to emerge from the very stones of the tower. With each passing moment, the lighthouse itself seemed to come alive. Its walls groaned and creaked, as if in agony, while unseen forces tugged at the intruders, pulling them towards the edge of madness. As the group tried to flee, they found themselves trapped within the labyrinthine corridors. Rooms materialized and vanished, leading them in circles, never allowing escape. Desperation fueled their panic as they encountered apparitions of long-dead keepers and lost souls, their mournful moans echoing through the lighthouse's hollow shell. The once secure beacon became a prison of torment, its light no longer a guide but a signal of impending doom. The visitors clung to one another, their faces etched with terror as they witnessed the horrors that lurked within the haunted lighthouse. Morning finally arrived, and with it came release from the clutches of the malevolent spirits. The survivors stumbled out of the lighthouse, their minds scarred by the nightmarish ordeal. They vowed to warn others, to keep them away from the cursed beacon that transformed the 4th of July into a macabre spectacle. The haunted lighthouse, standing resolute against the relentless tides, awaited its next unwitting victims, hungry for the terror that only the 4th of July could bring.
I hope you enjoyed that video. Don't forget to subscribe to Top 10 Horror. There's plenty more to come. I wish you farewell. Don't have nightmares.